Yoon's party. Wow, I forgot how amazing the white spires were. I haven't been here since I came to Madara. Remy could barely find the words as she stared up into the sky, following a dozen different sharp stone lines. They seemed to be made of white granite, placed not according to geometry, but to arcane patterns. You get used to it, Zeke grunted, already smoking. It's not all that great, really. The guards are the worst. Damn portal to Earth means we've got more than almost anywhere else. The place is meant to keep you in just as much as out. The grounds were elegant, white granite surrounded with carefully groomed gardens. Remy could smell the flowers, even if most had closed against the chill. And Yoon's throwing a party here? Nightingale seemed angrier than she had been at the graduation party. In the same place that holds the portal? There was a little reverence in her voice at the last word. Each of them had used that portal, and all of them understood its value. No portal, no kingdom. Yeah, but this place is way bigger than it looks. It's not like he's having the party where the portal is. He gestured down at the ground with a cigarette. The portal would be impossible for us to get anywhere near. Yoon holds his party near the white vaults of Alinea. They say that they go deeper than the spires go high. I don't think anybody knows exactly how far. He stopped for a moment, then grinned. Can you hear the music? Yoon always hires the most popular acts. Remy could hear it, steady bass so loud it came through her feet, accompanied with flashing lights from up ahead. They turned a corner and were suddenly face to face with a pair of surly-looking men on either side of a door. Zeke! They sprang into action, flinging the door open. Lady Nightingale, a pleasure, the guard said as they passed. So, they just let us in? Rook wondered aloud. Lights flashed, music blared, and dancing bodies filled the air with sweat. Where the arson graduation party had tables and a 3-course meal, Yoon had a full-service bar and whole tables packed with drinks. The place resembled a nightclub from Earth more than a formal dinner party in a fantasy world. Nightingale approached the bar and downed a shot of something colorful and glowing. Remy resisted the urge to do the same. If Nightingale reacted to bad news the way some of Remy's Earth friends had, she would probably be grateful for a sober friend in a few hours. The party was every bit as awesome as Zeke had led him to believe. The music was a refreshing throwback to the music from Earth, loud and abrasive. It provided a break from the choral and classical pieces some students had practiced in the Institute, and none of the dancing would have been okay at any school dance she had ever attended. Remy was startled out of her musing by a hand on her shoulder. She jerked away defensively, but it was only Nightingale grinning down at her with glowing blue teeth. Zeke just got word. We're wanted upstairs. Nightingale set her glowing cup on the table, the rest of the liquid sloshing out of it. Smells like more politics. No big deal, Remy replied. Whatever we gotta do, I'm right there with you. As they headed upstairs, Remy saw that Yoon Jong wasn't like the arson family. He didn't put a throne down where he could see the party unfold beneath his watchful eyes. Instead, he chose a table at the very center, where he could participate in the drama as easily as observe. Remy smelled him before she saw him. Like every kind of liquor Earth had ever invented, and many others it hadn't. Yoon separated himself from several attractive groupies, shoving out of the booth, staggering as he rose to his feet. Yoon was taller than Zeke, and wore an open jacket over a lean, muscled chest. His hair was styled, his face clean-shaven, and crystal jewelry glowed faintly around his neck. Nephew, Yoon smiled, opening his arms wide. I didn't expect you tonight. Institute graduation wasn't good enough? Zeke nodded. No one in Madara can throw a party like you. Truer words were never spoken. Your friends look lovely. He waved a hand with several glittering rings toward them, though he hardly seemed to see anyone besides Zeke. I wanted to acknowledge your presence before getting back to my proclivities. You kids enjoy yourselves. I would stay, but... He sighed. I'm needed elsewhere. Zeke didn't say anything until Yoon had walked off, heading towards a nearby doorway. That's weird. I don't think I've ever seen Yoon care about something more than his parties. He's been trying to get me to come party with him ever since I got here. But now that we're all here? He shrugged. Remy wasn't sure where the impulse came from. She kept her voice as quiet as possible, as quiet as she could and not be completely drowned in the music anyway. I could follow him. She didn't expect anyone to agree, and quickly felt silly for speaking up. Suddenly, though, Zeke nodded. Could you do it without getting caught? If Yoon's got himself into trouble again, well, the rest of the family should know. No problem. Remy cracked her knuckles. I'll be right back. Remy vanished into the party. She slumped her shoulders and tucked her wings in as she moved with the crowd. With so many flashing lights and so many people, it wasn't hard to disappear. She made it to the open doorway and strode in as though she knew exactly where she was going. Remy had not come to Madara to a kind family as Rook had done. She hadn't even come back to well-meaning but callous-seeming nobility as Zeke and Nightingale had. Remy's father loved her all right, and had taught her what he believed were the necessary skills to survive. Sometimes that meant hiding in plain sight. Despite the security of the white vaults beneath, the halls around Yoon's party were deserted. Remy hurried after the sound of repeating footfalls as quietly as possible. She memorized the hallways as she went, making a mental note of each twist. Soon enough, the footsteps stopped. Remy stopped too, straining her ears. It took her a few seconds of concentration before she could make the voices out. "You're sure?" Yoon's voice was quiet. "Absolutely." The second speaker was female, far brusquer. "We don't know how far he could have gotten by now." "You're positive someone didn't just forget to shut the door?" "Unfortunately." There was a hint of disgust in the woman's voice. "We don't make mistakes like that, sir." "What do we do about it?" Yoon's voice was a little louder, echoing through the halls. Remy took a minute to listen for any other noises, such as someone else coming from her direction. She didn't hear any yet, though. "Should we send down a patrol or something? Maybe call the Demiurge up?" Yoon sounded increasingly frustrated. "No, sir. I suggest you strengthen the guard on every known exit. In the unlikely event he can find his way out, it will be into a waiting squadron of the guard." Yoon grumbled angrily. "You called me away from an important gathering to tell me that we don't have to do anything?" His voice rose again, though Remy doubted it would carry into the party. "All right, Captain. Keep on doing the job my family pays you for." The sound of footsteps resumed, much louder than before and heading her way. Remy made her way back to the party in a hurry. She found Zeke first and let him do the work of gathering everybody up. Nightingale in particular seemed a bit remiss to leave the dance floor, but eventually she caved. No sooner had she been told what they'd learned than she started to smile. "You know what this means, right?" Nightingale grinned. Rook groaned. "Please don't." Nightingale ignored him. "If there's some sort of thief down in the White Vaults, that means somebody should go in after them. Somebody like us." Rook looked down with folded arms. "That sounds stupid." "You mean awesome," Nightingale laughed, nudging Rook in the ribs. He didn't react. "Admit it, you want to go down there and do some real adventuring." Rook reluctantly nodded. "I do want to go. It just seems like a knight-errant should discourage his princess from making risky moves." Nightingale rolled her eyes, turning on Zeke. "What about you? You know what's going to happen to us. When tonight's over, it might be years before our parents let us out from under their thumbs. Give it a few decades and you might be married off to some cream puff to cement a stupid political alliance or whatever." She rested one hand on his shoulder, smiling at him with her huge green eyes. With the lights flashing all around them, they practically glowed. "You don't want that shit, Zeke. You want to live." She gestured down the hallway Remy had come from with a wild smile on her face. "Let's go catch us a thief. See the White Vaults of Alinea for ourselves. Actually do something." "Sure." Zeke fished around, digging out one of the last of his cigarettes. "Sounds like fun." Nightingale opened her mouth to argue, then shut it as she realized he agreed. Then she turned to Remy. "You in?" "Obviously," Remy grinned back. "The stories of what's down there? I wonder if the rumors are true." Zeke cracked his knuckles. "All right, follow me. This place is a vault, but I think I might know a way in."